Yo, what it do? It's me. It's that wrestling dude. And I'm joined here by the man who's held as many championships as he's got nicknames. Member of the Marquee, the Trickster, Captain Aaron Nova, man. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Appreciate you coming on.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, man. Let's jump right in, man. Who trained you? Where you based out of? How many years you been at it?
God damn. All right, that's a loaded question. Before we get started,
Yes.
can I curse on here? No.
Absolutely. Have at
All
it,
right.
man. Be yourself.
All
Be
right.
yourself.
Cool. So I can say darn and heck, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
No. Man. All right. So where to start? When did I start?
I heard you've been at it for a minute.
Yeah, I've been around the block for ever.
Yeah.
10 years now. I was
Okay.
trained out
Okay.
of DWI in Ruskin, Florida. At first, it was with Frank Reyes and then Anthony Devlin, who you'll probably see in UCW. Took it over from there, and I was training under him for a number of years, and then I just hit the road, learning on the road, learning on these streets.
Yeah, absolutely. You're naturals day one.
Man, I can't say that I am. That is for others to make that claim. I know I watched a lot of wrestling my whole life,
Yeah.
so I would think it came natural because I was just emulating what I was watching.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who are your favorites then? Who were you watching?
Oh man, growing up, number one would be Owen Hart. Owen Hart
Okay. Yeah.
is one of my favorites. I was a real big fan of like the cruiserweights in the X division and stuff like that growing up, but Owen Hart would be my main guy, and then when I got a little older, Daniel Bryan, the Yes Movement, all of that was a huge part of my life. I was so invested in that. Then so yeah, Owen Hart, Daniel Bryan, and then just to name a few like CM Punk, Austin Aries, Taka Michinoku, Vader. Vader is one of my guys too. Just to name, this list goes on and on. But my one main favorite was Owen Hart, and then Daniel Bryan.
So you grew up in Attitude Era, or you learned about him later on?
Attitude Era. I was an Attitude
Okay.
Era guy. Child of the 90s. You already
Yep.
know.
Same.
Getting in trouble in school, adapting to this Earth lifestyle. I was heavily invested. It was a major part of my household. And it really kind of bonded the family. Is going back and watching it now, it's like, God damn, this
Oh, for sure.
it was yeah, all the craziness and stuff like that. But it's I learned a lot of life lessons from wrestling itself. It was a big soap opera that taught a lot of life lessons with all the craziness.
Because you just think about it, the hose, Val Venus, then like all the women's matches was all just like pudding matches and mashed potato matches. It wasn't like
Yes,
real
absolutely. Bra and panties, the mud wrestling, and all that. Oh man, all the craziness. Oh, Gangrel, the Brood, all that.
Yeah.
It was such a variety show. Because I was big on variety shows. Like I watched a lot of TV growing up.
Same.
Cartoon, Saturday Night Live, Mad TV, Martin, In Living
Snake.
Color. Yes, Nickelodeon, all that. Keenan
Yeah.
and Kel. I was big on a lot of different forms of storytelling and TV, but like wrestling was like this one big hub for it all.
Yeah.
Just like a combined force of just craziness.
But then we had ECW and we had WCW.
Absolutely. I remember the first day watching, just stumbling over ECW, being like, man, like 6 years old and staying up late and just flicking through the channels and who's falling from the ceiling? It's New Jack,
Yeah.
it's wild, but like, man, it definitely raised me.
Yeah. Saturday, 1 a.m. on the Sunshine Network, ECW.
It was for us, I believe it was on the MSG network in
MSG
in New York.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was child of the Bronx, crash landed in the Bronx. But MSG network, staying up late and catching the craziness of ECW, definitely part of my childhood.
All right. So what brought you to Florida then? Wrestling or when you were a kid?
Wrestling, absolutely. So you're gonna hear this a lot. You're gonna hear me say this a lot. I'm what you call a dumbass. Uh, so I I think my last senior year in high school, I moved down here in hopes to train with the Malenkos because I was a big Dean Malenko guy too growing up. That was my WCW guy. You know, you have your
Oh
WWE
shit.
guys,
Yeah.
ECW. So for WCW, Dean Malenko was my guy. Something that like I felt like I thought I looked like him. Like, like we,
The Iceman.
you know, if he was Puerto Rican, that's definitely a relative of mine's. But Dean
Yeah.
Malenko was my guy growing up. Love the seriousness, love the technical aspect. Like some people would favor Bret Hart in that aspect. Dean Malenko was my technical guy.
Yeah.
So being on the internet, not reading into context, into details and stuff like that, I always made the push to move to Tampa in hopes I would get to train with Dean Malenko. But by
Yeah.
the time I got here in 2009, the school probably had closed for like a decade already. You know, so I think it was FCW at the time, and I was just like, oh well, they're never gonna look at me. So I didn't eliminate the idea of training when I first moved down here. I just had to learn to adapt to living down here
Yeah.
from New York. It was a huge
Absolutely.
change of pace. So I had a lot of growing up to do, which I still do to this day, you know. But adapting, and then that was my hopes to train with the Malenkos, even though the school closed down. But when I met Frank Reyes years later, you know, knowing he was a part of that Boris Malenko formula, you know, I still feel somewhat a part, like connected to the Malenkos in a sense through Frankie.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. That's ballsy too, man. To come down like that, to move down right out of high school, to chase
Yeah.
your dream like that, man. I commend that for sure.
Yeah. It's man, just being a kid, you know, you ready to take on the world, and then the
Yeah.
world hits it. The world's gonna hit you back. So any young listeners, you know, have a plan, you know, have family, have something down here, because we just packed it up and just came in the middle of the night, and this is our new life now, and it took a lot of adjusting.
Absolutely. I can only imagine going from a city like that to Florida.
Oh yeah,
Like night
huge
and day.
night and day. You know,
Night and
so a
day.
lot of similarities though. A lot of similarities, just different cultures. You know,
Yeah, for sure, for sure. What was the hardest part at the beginning of wrestling?
the beginning of wrestling would be being an athlete. I was not an athletic kid at all. Sports growing up in the Bronx is very few and far between. Is very limited. So you're only getting basketball, maybe some track and field and stuff like that. I wasn't an A+ student, so I wasn't on any sports teams or anything like that. My only means of athleticism was just growing up in the projects and being a hooligan, man. That's my cardio. That's how I learned how to fight, how to wrestle and stuff like that, trying to emulate what I saw on TV
Yeah,
and applying it, you know, just being a hooligan teenager.
yeah,
So when I transitioned here, so first March 2014, March 2014 is when I took my first bump and training. So back then it was, I think it was Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday mornings. And when we first signed up, we full head of steam that Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And then Sunday, I was introduced to the blow up drills. And that was life changing. I almost did not survive that. I didn't survive the first one, but I was thankfully dumb enough to keep coming back, because here we are,
yeah.
you know, still talking about this 10 years later.
All right. You throw open that first blow up.
Absolutely. My guts out, man.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there that first blow up drill, one person I remember being there was Brian Brock. Buckshot Brian Brock was there. He probably seen this little puny kid throwing
Yeah.
up his guts in a bucket or in the bathroom. it was, man, it was an eye opener. I was not expecting that kind of rigorous cardio training, but it's extremely necessary.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
again, to those listening who want to get into wrestling or starting in wrestling, stay active and stay on those drills, because once you get off that wagon and you lose that ethic, it's hard to get back on that or getting your body to adjust to that cardio again.
Yeah, build them habits up.
Absolutely.
Who would you do you initially break in as something embarrassing? An
One more
embarrassing
time.
name? You break in with something embarrassing?
Did I
Embarrassing
break it?
name when you
Oh,
first
no.
came in.
So I always had my regular name, Aaron Nova.
Okay.
To me, it's just a name, but everybody's like, oh, well, Nova's cool. So a lot of people just call me as Nova. Embarrassing name, yes. So my moniker originally, when I started 10 years ago, was very stupid. I was calling myself the Swagtastic Super Thug. Just a mix of stupidity.
Yeah.
just if anybody, I'm pretty sure people listening now knows I always got some kind of lingo going, some kind of catchphrase, something new and something ridiculous going on, some trend I just latch on, going back to like that variety and like style of television I grew up watching. It was like always got to continuously reinvent yourself or try new things and come up with
Yeah.
new things, and just that period of time I was didn't know what it was, but I was the Swagtastic Super Thug, and it made no sense because there was nothing to it. It was just me, ball of energy, white meat, baby face. Come on, let's go. Basic wrestler number 87.
You didn't wear nothing ridiculous?
Uh, well, so when I first started, um, I kind of had my ear to the ground a lot about ear to the ground about a lot of things. Like I wanted to have a different approach when I came on because I knew I was a lot smaller. And as I grew older, I just got wider. Uh, but I was smaller, so I did a lot of research and a lot of people watching the local shows and stuff. Like watch DWI had a show bi-weekly. So I watched everybody on that roster, and when I knew it was time to debut, I knew I had to have a different presentation because I'm not the tallest. In fact, I was probably the smallest. Um, not the most athletic. Not an acrobat. I knew I wasn't going to be Dean Malenko like I've always wanted to be Dean Malenko because I had this weird personality, this ball of energy. So when I started, I knew, okay, no black tights. I got everybody's wearing black tights. I got to wear. So I wore navy blue. I had like these lime green knee pads, these white boots. I came out in this like flea market pleather jacket that was like this bright blue. Um, I had this space snapback hat that I always wore. And then that later evolved to wearing this galaxy print basketball jersey or football jersey. Like I loved, I I was always enamored with space
Yeah.
because I always felt like I was this alien here in Earth adapting. So I always had some galaxy print. Like I wanted to make it mine. Like when you see galaxy print, you think of Aaron Nova. So I had the galaxy print jerseys, black tights. If I had the black tights, I would have the bright jersey, the colorful knee pads, the boots. And then later on, as I grew up in the industry, that's when I adopted the cape and stuff like that. The cape, the white gloves, just the any way I can be different, I would aim for that.
Yeah. Be able to
But when
stand yourself out.
yeah, but when I first started, like I'm pretty sure this picture's on the internet, of course. If you go to any of my matches from like 2014, 2015, like it was just a ridiculous look. Like I look back now and cringe. Like I would have this galaxy jersey and these galaxy tights and these bright green, but my goal always was to stand out amongst like the ocean that is wrestling, like the number of wrestlers. I try to stand out as much as I can.
Yeah. No, it works too. Because the first time I saw you was Mayhem and Mills. I want to say last year.
Mhm.
You weren't even wrestling. You were just in the crowd. Nice Snoop turn on his crew.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
first time I saw you, I was like, this dude's obviously doing something in the business.
yeah,
Just from seeing you, just because of that presence, you figured it out, man.
yeah. It took a lot of trial and error. Again, to those listening, try different things, man. Just keep trying and never. If you stick on one thing too long, you got to change it up. Look at all the greats. Look at an Undertaker. Same thing, same character, but like
Yeah,
different presence. Like I'm always going to be the captain, but Mayhem Mountain Mills, if I'm going to be a manager, I need something that'll pop. So you think of all the managers, you think of like Paul Bearer, you got the face paint and stuff
yeah,
that looks like a zombie, or Jim Cornette with a tennis racket. So my approach was, okay, I don't like dressing nice. Like I don't like suits. It's uncomfortable. It's too much to put on. It's too much to take off. And it's Florida, guys. It's 100 degrees.
hot as hell. Yeah,
So around that time, the one thing that I used that I try to stand out was the scarf. The scarf, the glasses, and then I had what was it, like this cardigan sweater, this blue knit cardigan sweater, like just trying to be different.
yeah,
But just standing in the audience, like you said, like I wanted to feel like I could be regular, but I could be a part of the show
yeah,
at some point. But I wanted the
yeah,
focal point to be that scarf, which I utilized in the match, throwing it in,
yeah.
causing the distraction.
All right, worked there. What's been your biggest moment so far? Your favorite moment, biggest favorite?
In my career, man, this is gonna sound lame as hell, but just I would like to think my best moment just hasn't happened yet. I
That's
can't.
good.
I don't stick too much on one thing. I like always try to. I continuously try to move forward. Um, Titles. I had a lot of titles. I was blessed to earn a lot of championships on the independent scene in Florida. A lot of those have meaning to me. But biggest moment, man, it's tough when there's so many moments that you just live into and just move forward.
Yeah,
You move on from it. It's hard to look back. But one big moment, man, I would say there was in 2022, there was this year-long feud I had. Still kind of ongoing, but I don't know if you've have ever heard of the Nova Alliance versus Y'all Elite.
who's in the
Uh,
elite, the y'all elite?
it was me versus Cheese, and we had this
Okay,
this ongoing feud that led into this gang warfare almost, that culminated in one show that we all self-produced, um, called the Civil Brawl. So with the Civil Brawl, I try to make everything like that wrestling feel. So we moved from like we had regular flyers, but we had motion graphics, we had animated flyers, we had everybody picking a side almost. We had flags, we had merchandise, and it all ended in one big show that we threw. So even though that show, like I was hard on myself as a promoter, as a producer, like I felt like I could have done more, but for what it what everybody brought to the table, kind of brought it to this like wild lightning in the bottle time
yeah,
period in Florida where everybody was invested in this ridiculous feud, picking a side. It was, like I said, this gang warfare, almost Monday Night Wars esque. Like even though it was a bunch of local guys just making dumb videos, and every match we were booked on across Florida, we would sneak in a little something to the feud into the match, onto these
That's
shows,
awesome. That's
you
awesome.
know. And once it was finally done, like I sat in that Applebee's and I just had that like, oh man, we did that,
Yeah.
So that'll be probably one of my favorite accomplishments. It was just executing that show for everybody.
So it's one of those missing too, is that everyone just talking shit on social media and then having matches all throughout the state at different promotions, kind of roping it all into one big thing.
Yeah, it snowballed, man. It started from a joke from which would be I had pandemic affected a lot of people, in a
Yeah.
lot of different ways. And the one thing that the world had still was professional wrestling. Like, the world closed. You didn't have NBA, you didn't have MLB, you didn't have NHL, you didn't have football. You had professional wrestling. And
Mm-hmm.
in the face of the apocalypse, you have professional wrestling. So when the pandemic happened, me and some buddies, we were watching what do you call it? Talking Shopomania.
Mm-hmm.
With the Good Brothers. They had like this whole backyard show that
Yeah.
with all these stars and just ridiculousness, So we were sitting watching that, and we were drinking at the time, and it was one of those, why don't we do that? Which led
Yeah.
to my second birthday bash, and that was 2020. We had a big birthday bash within the pandemic in an abandoned laser tag arena. So we had this. So this was my first like self-produced balls to the wall show that we all orchestrated again, and I thank everybody involved in that. Without everybody's belief, we couldn't have pulled it off in the heart of the pandemic. A lot of things went wrong, a lot of things went right, but we executed that, and then from that show, which is it's on YouTube still if you look it up, Aaron Nova's birthday bash 2. Everybody involved in that kept me going. So many things were going wrong. I think I lost my grandfather probably 3 days prior to the show. I had to fly out to New York, and I was like, oh man, I don't even know if this is going to happen now. Like, it just, everything went wrong. And then the day of, everything just went right. It was lightning in a bottle, and it transpired so many different careers and pathways, and which led into Civil Brawl. So it kind of piggybacked off that. It took some time after like 2 years, but we just kept that feeling of, hey, everybody, professional wrestling is still fun.
Yeah.
And that's what we were pushing everybody involved in that show, which led to Civil Brawl. And then after Civil Brawl, it was just like, man, this is, despite what everybody says online, indie wrestling is great. It is fantastic. Florida wrestling is great if you just let it be great, or you just make it great. If you get in what you put in, and everybody involved put in a hell of a lot of effort and bringing professional wrestling like to life after the pandemic. It just kept it going. It never died, but it just took it to a whole new level.
Yeah, because this has been like the biggest it's been, I'd say, in years, right? I mean, because you've been in it in a decade. This has got to be the biggest you've seen it since the whole time you've been in.
Yeah. So I want to say my best year was what, 2018, 19. Like, physically, I was like chip on my shoulder. I'm like, no, I'm gonna work everywhere. I'm gonna work everybody, and I'm gonna win every belt, and I'm gonna do all these things, And I had that mentality, but I was not taking care of myself. The body and the mind and the soul weren't all on the same page. So I was just running hard, and my body was breaking down. And then, like, mentally, lights were on, nobody was home. We were just driving. We were just going 100 miles per hour. And then 2020, I had broke my arm. I had took 1 month off to like focus on getting in shape and stuff like that. And I was working with a guy. Salim, who was teaching me these powerlifting workouts, and I was in really good shape. And I was like, I'm gonna hit hard. 2020 is gonna be my year. And my first spot back with Sam C and Tampa Bay Pro, I did like a splash. I overshot myself on a splash and put my hand down. Boom.
Ooh.
Radius fracture right here on my elbow. And we were still celebrating. And I remember telling Sam, "Is like, I think something's wrong, man. I think my arm's broken." And I I tried to no sell it. Everybody knew what was up. But I was like no selling it, like, all right, I'm just gonna sneak out here. And then I ended up breaking my arm. And then like a week later, I get fired from my job, and then the world shuts down.
The world shuts down.
The world shuts down, man. But with everything going wrong, I was blessed and fortunate to be around such good people. I can name all of them, but I will be here all day and night if I named all those people one by one, man. But I'm so grateful for all of them, because I felt like that group of guys really kind of took wrestling to the next level after the pandemic, throughout the pandemic, you know?
Yeah. Have you ever had to eat the cheese out of the trunks?
Thank God, no, because
Okay.
I would have killed cheese. Sweaty cheese, man. I must have gotten hit with 150 pieces of cheese in every variation possible.
Yeah.
I was probably the first one to get hit with the cheese. I'm not even sure.
I was wondering, it comes out of the sweaty, man. You know, it's sweaty as hell, that cheese.
This was back. So I was taking the gimmick when he didn't have the fanny pack. He was pulling it out of his singlet. And it was raw dogging his chest. And I was getting hit with that every night, you know. But then he later he evolved into the fanny pack and kept the plastic on, man. Me and Cheese, that is like, there's so many wrestling feuds. I don't even know what to compare us to. I'll leave that up to the people to decide. But man, Stone Cold Rock, I don't Hogan Macho Man, I don't know what you call it. But then somewhere along those lines is Aaron Nova and Cheese. Somewhere. Not at the top 10, maybe like the top 100. I don't know. I'll leave that up for interpretation. But yeah, Cheese and me, we got a long history, and there's more history to be made eventually, you know.
Yeah. What let me hear a story on how the Marquee came to be, how you became involved with them.
Oh man. Man, it's a funny world we live in. So 2023, we were going to WWN Proving Ground, me and Starling. I was kind of leaning out of wrestling after a couple of years of trying to start a new promotion, but ultimately failing. I've produced for a number of shows that were successful, but weren't getting enough consistency. So a lot of shows were canceling, and I was kind of out of it. Okay, I felt like I've done the wrestling thing, and I just done the promoting thing, and I just felt honestly like a big failure. I won't even lie. I felt like I was like, all right, I've done wrestling, I've done the backstage stuff. What else could I do? Like, honestly, you know, being a baby in this business, and I'm pretty sure people are going to be listening. It's like, you haven't done anything. And I, you know, I don't think I have done anything, but I know I've done a lot, you know,
Yeah.
a lot of whatever you call it. But, so one of my good friends to this day, Daniel Starling, was looking to have a different approach in wrestling. So we went to WWN Proving Ground. And I was like, you got to come here. It's good reps, you know, it's a weekly show. We can try different things. We can go in here together. And through Proving Ground, I was managing Starling, and it was me, Starling, and God rest his soul, Francisco Chiazzo. Every week we would we became so close after that run. And towards the end of 2023, I was even booking Proving Ground at one point. And one of the guys on the show was Tyler Uriah. And Tyler is my dog. That dude is such a great athlete. Just I can't even say underrated. I just think we haven't scratched the surface, or he hasn't scratched the surface on what he can do yet. We haven't seen his full potential. We just now starting to, look to the side here and starting to notice him. So he's definitely somebody to watch in the coming years. This year might be that year. Who knows let's watch this year. I know it just started. I'm getting excited now, but like he's definitely somebody to watch,
I agree. I've seen him make people look good that had no business looking good.
I'm one of those people.
Yeah,
Listen, we had one match and he carried me to the mountaintop.
Yeah.
He reminded me a lot of Daniel Starling. And this was Daniel Starling probably like 4 or 5 years ago when, you didn't know who he was, but you just knew he was a pretty decent wrestler, but no oomph to him, no pizzazz, nothing yet, nothing to turn heads, or not the Daniel Starling we see today. So I saw a lot of similarities between the two. And again, we were riding heavy every weekend at Proving Ground, doing everything we could to make everything different and try different things and try to elevate the show as well as ourselves. Towards the end of 2023 or the beginning of 2024, we had an opportunity to go to do extra work for TNA through Francisco Chiazzo. That unfortunately that weekend is the weekend he passed. So it was, I want to say it was 3 days of doing extra work. And if anybody knows, that extra work is they're long days into the night. Like it's an all day thing. So these 3 days, it was 3 long days of a bunch of indie wrestlers grouped together in this building. So friendships are formed, and just to make the time go by, before the show started, we were just pitching just these ridiculous ideas and just creating these fake storylines and just the camaraderie. It was me, it was Starling, it was Tyler Uriah, it was Devin Diaz, it was Better Together. Just all out of our minds on these long days, being an extra, doing extra work and stuff like that, running around, setting up, tearing down, running errands, whatever the case may be. But we were just out of our minds, just making up just the craziest things just to make the time go by. And then unfortunately that Sunday we got the news that Frankie had passed. And, I know I couldn't sell. I can't speak for anybody, but I know I couldn't sell because because he knew I always loved TNA. As I said earlier, like the X divisions were a huge part of me. Yeah. And, here I am like, oh man, I'm in the room with the greats, so after that insanity of these 3 days afterwards, the jokes kept going. The Silver Spurs Arena, 2,000 in attendance on their feet for 59 minutes, just the ridiculousness. And then it became, let's just ride together, and we just, let's just stooge our way onto these shows. And then we just show up at these shows. And then it started with, okay, let's film this. So if those listening might have seen like some of the videos I would make, like the backstage on Raws, when the superstars are at the building and, oh, look who's here tonight. I would do that. I would pipe in the crowd noise. I would put in the the Raw theme song in the background, the SmackDown theme song, beautiful people in the background. Like we were a segment. It started from that. It started from that. And then it started us working against each other and then working together, and a huge part of that, is our work at the establishment. After Frankie had passed, I kind of made it like a point to, okay, I can't leave wrestling. I got to do this, because this is what he wanted Aaron Nova, the wrestler. So I was like, okay, I'm going to try being this wrestler again. I felt mentally I was so checked out of it, so I was getting back into it. And then guys like Starling, guys like Tyler were like, no, you're a worker and you're a pretty good one, and they would push me and it just started from showing up, and then we were on the show, and then we were on the show together, and then we were riding everywhere together. And man, it just snowballed. And we still, after a year of just throwing little bits and pieces out, the group got some traction, but we still haven't officially done much. You know what I'm saying? It just became a match or two here. It became a lot of the videos. So we haven't really fully invested into the idea of the marquee until right now, so we'll be seeing a lot of that this year. But It all started. Sorry, I know I go on these tangents.
No, I'm at it, man. I'm intrigued. I'm listening.
When I'm in, it's last year was just such a crazy year, but it all started with TNA and just being out of our minds and just the nonstop jokes. And then once we got out of there, it was like the jokes kept going, and then the jokes spiral into real life, and they snowball into the ideas, and that's the marquee right today.
That's cool. You got two homeboys like that who bounce ideas off each other and do shit together.
Oh, 24/7. 24/7. Like I'm talking like this is 5:30 in the morning, like text messages, like, all right, whatever the case may be. Like, and it's always like, we all love wrestling. Like we all speak wrestling. And that was like relationship we had with Frankie, where, everything was a reference to wrestling, and that we kept that alive, and we just kind of stuck together because we know that's kind of what Frankie wanted.
Where'd the hand gesture come from? What is it? Is it a horn? Man.
So I'll be honest. I'm gonna give all the credit to the marquee starting to the Dirty Man. Dirty Man, he's a good brother. The Dirty Man was at the TNA deal that weekend of last January, and man, he just walked by us, and he look at all of us, and he'd be like, "You guys are rotten, all you guys are rotten." But him, I want to say, in Hadar started that deal right there, and then all of us together, we just kept doing it to each other, like giving the old like it's this vague gesture of something, and then we just all ran with it. But credits to Dirty Man. He's the unofficial member of the marquee. He's a good brother, man. But I would give that all to him. He came up, him and Hadar. I don't even know what the conversation was, because I was so spaced out of my mind that just those long, it's like, I don't want to say like prison, because I love TNA, but but it was just being at that building all day is just the ridiculousness, the things we came up with to pass time. But it was one of those jokes, and we just ran with it.
So it's like a halfway tip in your hat, but kind of being proper about it.
So the explanation I made up just randomly in the car was, to me, it was a flashlight. And because for a period of time we were coming out to Future, Turn on the Lights, and this all started just us going to the strip club, listening to Future, and just blasting this song. And then it was one of those, man, this should be our theme song. And then we're just doing this, and again, snowballed, and we just kept doing it. We started coming out to Future. It's just the jokes that get out of hand, man.
Yeah.
That's That's my explanation. But the one who would truly know is Hadar and Dirty Man. Those brothers came up with that one.
Yeah, because I was wondering, I saw you guys doing it. What the hell? I could never figure out what the hell it was.
Brother, we don't even know. It's just
And so that's some of the best stuff is like that, man.
yeah. But my theory or my conclusion would be it's a flashlight because we love Future and we come out to turn on the lights and we looking for her, man.
Yeah.
We're looking for her.
I was at the establishment when you won the executive championship as a Night Rider. What was the thought process behind that with the mask?
So man, establishment. I have nothing but great things to say about establishment. Establishment really kind of reminded me that not only am I a worker, but I'm a pretty good worker. And I eliminated that idea so long ago that I was so checked out from in ring just because I wasn't committed. I felt like I wasn't committed. I wasn't athletic, yada yada, all that sad stuff. But establishment kind of I showed up every show and I expected nothing, and I was just like, whatever you need me to do, we'll just make it happen. I didn't expect anything with it. Like if you look at the first show, I'm in the audience just watching. I literally went just to watch, and then the next show was like, so actually that first show I was like, hey guys, if you need a manager, I'll manage Starling. Starling is your guy. Starling is the best wrestler. And then the next show I beat Starling, and I was like, oh, okay, this is kind of this. I thought it was a joke at first, and then it was like, all right, now we're gonna put you against Blake for the title, and it was like, oh, okay, whatever you need. But in my head, I'm like, this is a joke, right? They've made they but what they were really doing was pushing me, like, no, you're a wrestler and you're gonna wrestle, and and I just, okay, you guys, sure, you want to do this, and and then before I went to Japan last May, the angle was I was fired from the establishment. Like I lost. Everybody for some reason turns on me at the establishment. I don't know why. It is my gift. It is my curse. I am like the Rey Mysterio of establishment, where everybody just all my partners turn on me. So Starling turns on me, and then we become friends, and then DMC turns on me. DMC turns on me, and which was probably one of my favorite matches last year. It was me against Blake Banks. The second time we wrestled for the title, and DMC turns on me, and then it became a loser leaves town match. And let me tell you something. DMC beat the dog shit out of me with the steel chair. And this is like, oh man, I was hoping to just go to Japan. I think I was going to Japan probably those next couple of days. Oh man, he beat the dog shit out of me. Like he ensured that I stayed in this business because the ongoing joke was I'm going to quit the business.
Yeah.
And he laid it in. So I was fired after that match. After Mikey Spandex killed my alien, that bastard killed my alien, wore its skin, and then they hit me with their tag deal. So the thing with the establishment, which I always found unique, was this concept of a hiring process match. So at one of the shows in Orlando, I would sneak onto the hiring process under a mask gimmick. So that's where the Midnight Rider came about. Of course, inspired by Dusty Rhodes' Midnight Rider. It was just ridiculousness. It was a gauntlet match. I came in the end. I rolled up KC5, bing, boom. I get a title shot, But I was so committed to the ridiculousness that I showed up to the building wearing the mask. I wore a cheese shirt. Like, everybody knowing it is me, but like I'm so committed to acting like it's not me that people just went with it.
Yeah.
And then I worked Azzy, who was another tremendous wrestler, tremendous athlete. Azzy is the man. He was a deserving champion, but I went in there knowing like, okay, if this is the night, we're gonna make it count. So it was all about the moments. And during the middle of the match, he rips the mask off. Holy crap! It's Aaron Nova. Even though everybody knew, everybody reacted the way I wanted them to react, in the sense where it's like, oh my God, it was Nova this whole time. But come on, it was. It's a little bit of just committing to the craziness, man.
No, you do, because I remember the social media stuff that you're posting, you're putting out there. It was like the most ridiculous shit. And it's like, it was obviously it's you, but I was buying into it, man. Like, who the fuck is this dude?
it's another. Everything is inspired by, like, so in wrestling, I'm pretty sure Mr. America in 2004.
Yeah,
with Hulk Hogan as Mr. America, and I just remember being an idiot kid and believing the lie detector test like a again, I'm a dumbass. So I wanted to kind of a little mix of Dusty and a little bit of Mr. America, and just see how far like I can go with this. And it was so ridiculous. And then it became who's the Midnight Rider? Who is it? Shogun? It's all these people? Is it Rene Dupree? Is it just the ridiculousness? And it couldn't have been me, because I was home the whole time. It's just the ridiculousness. And again, it's going back to like Civil Brawl or something. It's just like committing to the ridiculousness.
Yes. Yeah.
Everybody is a part of the storyline. They bring it to life. I ignite it, and they take it from there, and it's like wildfire.
Yeah, that's what the people are about, though. They're all about that. They all buy into that. That's what separates you from everybody else, because no one remembers the match someone had last week. They remember, like you said, shit like that, the ridiculousness.
Yeah, it was, and that's just, man. When I got into wrestling, it was so negative, and everybody hated everything and hated John Cena and who was Roman Reigns and everything is, and I never wanted to be like that. Because I love wrestling so much, and I love the craziness. So I wanted to be an example that wrestling is still fun, and if I can make it fun, then I'm doing my job. If one person buys into the stupidity, I've done my job. So I'm just a reminder that wrestling's still fun. You can still enjoy it. It doesn't have to be seriousness. It doesn't have to be strong style.
Yeah.
Burning spirit. It doesn't have to be any of that, man. It doesn't have to be blood feud, work the shoot the work, man. You could just have fun.
Yeah.
So I encourage everybody, just have fun.
That's what makes it fun for everybody else. You mentioned Casey Vi. You're at Mayhem at Mills on Sunday. I see you adopted the VAI method.
Casey Vi, God, how do I? Because I hate Casey Vi. He's just a god awful person. So Casey Vi reminds me a lot of, and this is just my opinion, but maybe because I seen it firsthand, but he reminds me of Cheese in a sense of just this ridiculous. I don't know why all the ridiculous people in wrestling just come straight to me. Like I'm like a magnet for these for the craziness. And Casey Vi comes on the scene as this motivational speaker, and he's selling the Vi method. And in establishment, I was like, I'd rather quit the business. Like any inconvenience, I'm quitting the business. Like, and he's like, you shouldn't quit. You should join the Vi method. And it's just like, I'd rather punch myself in the balls, dude. And then that's where it started with me and Casey Vi, and then him jumping me, and then recently beating me for the executive championship at the Tavern in Orlando. So I was like, oh, man, Delgado turns on me. Of course, everybody's turning on me. And what do you know? A couple of weeks later, it's just like, what do you think about teaming with Casey Vi? And I was like, man, I heard this before. I was like, okay, if this is what you want, I hate Casey so much, but I want to show everybody that wrestling is still fun.
Yeah.
So let's make it happen. And what do we do first night? It is an RPG match. I don't know what this is. I literally did not study anything RPG related. I just showed up for work and I was like, I'm going to try my best. Casey hands me a turtleneck and I was like, I don't even have a neck. I don't even know how is this going to work. Two opposite characters, but the one thing we have in common is actually two things, two things we have in common. Number one, we hate the handsome man of science. I hate a scientist. Scientists are just bad people. All right. I hate scientists. So I hate the handsome man of science. And the second thing we have in common is, just to pull the curtain a little back, we both want an opportunity and we both want to make the best of any opportunity that is given to us. So you present us with this opportunity. I know in my heart, I'm going to do whatever it takes to make this special, make it mean something, and make it different, you know? And Casey shared that same mindset, you know? So put the differences to the side. Let's make this work. And what happened? We lost. So it didn't work out with me and Casey. But who knows, man? Who knows for the future? If that's something the people want, then the people will have to call it. Can we make it work? I don't know. It'll be fun to watch. What do you think?
Did you get your own headset?
No.
That's probably why. Then that's probably why.
The turtleneck was where I drew the line.
You both need to have the headsets on to talk trash in the middle of the match.
Oh man, who's to say? You know, let's see what happens in April at the next Mayhem on Mills. And let's see where we go from there. Because I'll tell you, that match was unique. It was something special. It was a cast of characters given an objective, and I don't know if we aced it or it's up to the people's interpretation, but damn, it was. I know I was moving like I was moving in 2018 because I was like, no, where I was hitting it, man. I felt really good after that match. But who's to say? Me and Casey vibe, man. I hate his guts, and I wish him the absolute worst.
You guys might end up best friends. Let's sell some tickets for you. This Saturday, February 8th, to be at Pride of Wrestling's Point of Crisis. Are you managing Daniel Starlin, or are you I guess with match with Bobby Chulo, or are you doing something else?
No, so Pride of Wrestling, Point of Crisis. I've been with Pride of Wrestling since day one. Former Pride of Wrestling champion. I'm proud of all the work I've done in Pride of Wrestling. This time around, Aaron Nova is on commentary. I've been doing commentary the past couple of shows. I enjoy my spot. I do not enjoy getting hit. But I do the best that I can on commentary and trying to relay the story and be a fan, man. I've watched all those people. I watched all those guys. I watched Pride of Wrestling grow. And I think it is the best gig for me because I'm a fan first, and I will cheer it on, and I will react to everything. So to me, it's the best seat in the house, man. I'm a fan first. So, but commentary, if you ever get a chance to listen to my commentary, let me know, man. Let me know what you think. Been doing it, been learning a lot from commentary. I've been working with Tyler Uriah. We're like the voice of Pride of Wrestling. The marquee's everywhere. A little bit of marquee everywhere. But we're Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler, you know. We're on the call of Pride of Wrestling this Saturday.
Do you do preparation for that, or you just wing it?
Man, the best preparation I do, like if they bring in people from out of town or anything, get as much research I can on these superstars. Review every promo, make sure I'm up to date on the stories. And, you know, if there isn't one, I just try to learn more about the wrestler. So I do some research prior, day of, I'll introduce myself, get to know him a little bit, and try to get any information I could so I can relay it to the people listening.
No, that's good. That's good. That we just calling the matches, man. You're moving the story along.
Yeah. But I don't know. I don't think I'd be in a Pride of Wrestling ring anymore. But I do like my spot. I do like commentary. Like I said, I'm a fan first. But who's to know? Never say never.
All right. So now you're being MegaCon. You participating in Bizarre Wrestling, or you doing your own thing?
Yes, Bizarre Wrestling. This is a new one recently. I remember MegaCon from a year or two ago. But this is my first time being a part of it. I don't want to give too much away. It's going to be a very interesting one, but I will be a part of the mayhem.
All right. Looking for that one. Let's see what's going on with that Rumble. Everyone bring their own stuff, right?
Oh man, I didn't read that part. Oh no. Oh man,
I got a feeling. I got a feeling to pop up at Sloth there, so man.
Man.
March 2nd, Laredo Pro Wrestling Guild's Emerald City Fight Night in Dublin, Georgia. I saw Matt Cardona's on the card. I saw he was too scared to face you.
Oh man, no, not me. Starling is the wrestler, brother. I am the manager. Lariato Pro. We got some history. We're back after a long hiatus. But we came into Lariato Pro under Frankie's wing. We dominated instantly. We made a name for ourselves. We were featured in War Games. We were in the ring with PCO. Just a lot of craziness happened rather quickly, but now I think all of that craziness and hard work has got us to this moment now, because now we are facing the champions, the tag team champions. We got a title shot. It's Starling and Delgado. And we looking to bring those titles home to Florida here to Frankie, man. Frankie got us to the dance, and this will be a special one. And I think the Marquis might pull out the win by any means necessary. If I'm ringside, I'll find a way. I'll find a way.
Bring them titles back across state lines.
Yeah, just as long as JBL ain't around. I know JBL is going to be on the show. I don't want no static with JBL. I don't want to get hit a clothesline.
I already had that wouldn't feel too good either, man. That clothesline stiff. No,
last time I was there, man, Ron Simmons chased me up a cage, and I don't want to do that again. So I don't want it with the APA, man. I don't want it with the Acolytes.
That place must be ridiculous for that show. Dublin, Georgia too.
Small town shows, man. Some of the best shows. Lariato. Yeah. They pack that house. You'll see a lot of TNA stars. You'll see a lot of stars. You like the Matt Cardonas. You'll see JBL. We had PCO. We had Ron Simmons. We had Crazy Steve, Eddie Edwards. A lot of names, but those small town shows never steer side of that homegrown talent out there. And the Florida boys riding up, me and the boys are riding up, and we're gonna cause some mayhem.
All right. Second weekend of March, you're in Louisiana. You heading to another small town?
Louisiana is gonna be a new territory for me. This is gonna be my debut in Louisiana. A lot of surprises. Louisiana Wrestling Association. Let me make sure I got that right before I get fired on my first day. Jesus Christ.
What city you're going to?
Yep, Louisiana Wrestling Alliance, right? That's what. Yep. No, I said association. Yep. Louisiana Wrestling Alliance. Sorry. But I want to say it is, man, the best. I just get in the car and just go. I just know it's not New Orleans, not Nolans, not Cajun.
Then if you're going to a small town in Louisiana, man, you're gonna see something unique for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited.
They're different, man. They're different. They're different down there.
I haven't been to Louisiana since 2014 for that WrestleMania. But this is my first time officially working there.
Yeah.
The town is in my head. It's not coming out.
It's not Shreveport, is it? Shreveport's the other big city. So if it's definitely not Shreveport, then you're definitely going to like Cajun country.
Man, it's Yeah, I'm terrible. I'm so sorry.
You good, right?
I don't have the flyer, so I've gotten the details. Lock in this date. I'm there.
All right.
But more to come on that. If you follow me on social media, I'm always posting or being tagged into something. So Louisiana Wrestling Alliance, you'll see me there. Right? It's going to be a lot of craziness. If Aaron Nova's there, just know something crazy is going to go down. So just stay tuned. More details to come. We'll know the city. If not, just wait in Louisiana until I get there, and we're gonna do something crazy.
Follow your way out. That's a rough drive too, man. I made that drive. That whole
Yeah.
panhandle, man. That panhandle goes on forever.
But I, at this point, I've been on the road so much these past 10 years, going all over everywhere.
Yeah.
I hate it, but I'm just so conditioned to it now. So like
Yeah.
when my friends come to town, they're like, "Oh, this is an hour away." I'm like, "That is
There's nothing here.
nothing." I've been all over in this car. First day I got my car, I drove straight up to Atlanta, Georgia. Following week I was in Savannah, Georgia. I'm just so conditioned to it now. And I'm glad to be back on the road again, man. Something about the road.
Yeah. No, it's gonna have a cool experience in Louisiana, man. It's nothing like you've seen before when you get down into those Cajun places like that.
Yeah.
Third weekend in March, back in Orlando. Is that for establishment?
No, that's for Shamrock. Sorry, I should.
Shamrock, bro.
I should have wrote all this. I'm terrible.
You're good, man.
Shamrock Shakedown Block Party, man.
Sanford, right?
Yeah. Let's say yeah, man. I had to.
I think it's Sanford.
Yeah. To all the people wanting to book me now, I'm so sorry. I should. I knew this interview was a long time coming, and I'm not prepared. We just get in the car and we just go, man. We just shoot straight. Again, I'm so sorry, man. You messaged me a few months ago, and I missed it. It went straight to my hidden request, and I was like, wait a minute. I was like, huh, that's strange, because you posted a video of Sid, and I'm a huge Sid guy. Sid is like that's my pick me up before every show. Like I gotta watch some Sid to get hyped up. Everybody has a song. Has a pre-show ritual. Sid is my guy. So
yeah,
somebody had sent me Sid, and I was just like, oh, these brothers uploaded. It's on their page. I clicked message, and then I had that. It was in the request from like November, and I was like, oh my God. I was like, I'm so sorry.
You're good.
Let's do it ASAP.
I saw you at GCW Black Friday. I was going to talk some shit to you, but I was coming out of the bathroom. You going in. I'm like, this is probably a weird time for me to linger outside the bathroom while you come out. And I'm like, hey,
Black Friday was that? It was too cold that day.
It was way too cold, and it started raining too.
I wrestled in my hoodie. Shout outs to those guys though, who and the girls who wrestled after the rain. And they
rain, dude.
They gave everybody there a show, and much respect to all of them. I went out there, and I had my hoodie on. I was like, I took it off. I was gonna work, and I was like, nah, this isn't it. I'm gonna wrestle in the hoodie.
You and Baby Keith were both like, fuck, this is too cold.
Yeah, it was too cold, man. But Jules Bradley, man, that another good brother. We got to run it back, man. We got to do it right this next time,
Yeah, he took the shirt off and everything. I was like, oof.
Yeah,
freezing.
And then beat me, and then I had a sweater on, and he beat me still, man. So I gotta get my lick back, man. These guys are they getting me. So I gotta find myself and remind everybody. I can still kind of do this. I could kind of work.
He's got a beautiful mullet though. So
oh yeah, the mullet shake. The mullet is over. He's the dog daddy. He reminds me of the dog daddy.
All right, one I do know, March 29th, Brandon, Florida, for Mara Pro's Return to Madness. It's got to be rough trying to share that spotlight with TJ Brady, right?
Oh, man. TJ Brady. Oh, that's a good one. But Mara Pro, Return to Madness, this time is going to be different. Because I'm in town now. It's right down the road from me. I'm not going to say I'm the hometown hero or anything, but I get to sleep in. So that means I'll have all the energy. And I don't know, man. Me and TJ, we might have to see each other. Return to Madness. I think it might go down between us. Who knows? Him and his crew, maybe me and my crew. We'll see what's up. But it's that's one I'm very excited for. That one. It's going to be in Lola's Club off of 301. Get your tickets now. Check the Eventbrite. Use the promo code Marquee. Use the promo code Captain. Get yourself a discount on those tickets and see me do what I do best, man. See the craziness live. Come on down to Marrow Pro. We're gonna turn that whole promotion around, and with the captain leading the ship, man, ain't no telling. We on the way to new horizons.
Definitely speaking first-hand experience, seeing you in different places. Always put on the show, man. It's always a good time.
Thank you. I try, man. I just try to, like I said earlier, I just want to let everybody know that wrestling is still fun.
Yeah.
I'm having fun with it. So loosen your butt up a little, man, and just enjoy what we have. There's so much wrestling. There's millions of hours of wrestling, and there's gonna be more. Don't dedicate all your energy to being mad about something in wrestling. Invest in the stuff you do like. You know what I'm saying?
I hate that everyone's fighting. There's WWE and crying about Uso and crying about that. I'm like, yeah, I don't know what it was like after WCW closed up until recently, where there was nothing but still as WWE. That was like sometimes it's tough to go through. Like there's so much things, so much to watch now, and there's no reason to be crying. Watch what you like and shut the fuck up about everything else.
Exactly. Just fucking enjoy the show. It is a show.
Yeah.
Tune in next week to the new episode. Maybe it'll get better. And one other thing, like, wrestling just it's a variety show. So you have a little bit of everything, just focus on the things you like instead of the things you don't like. And this is to wrestlers too, man, who's just, you go on the internet, you just ruin it for potential new fans or existing casual fans, man. Stop complaining.
Yeah.
If you ain't adding to it, then don't do it. You know what I'm saying? Just not everything's a problem, bro. Just love some shit, man. Love wrestling, man. Come see Aaron Nova, Marrow Pro, the 29th. See me in Louisiana. See me in Georgia. I'm just shocked that I'm on the road again, and I get to give this another shot. I'm blessed, and like I said, I'm grateful for everybody who pushed me along the way. When I lost Frankie, it was hard. It was tough. But the one thing I had, man, is the boys. I had the boys. I had the camaraderie. I had wrestling every week ever since. So I'm thankful for that, man. I'm thankful for all those people. I'll name all of them, but like I said, I'll be here. There's so many, man. It's a great wrestling community. Shout outs to all of them who add to the show and make it fun. Bring this alive. And there's no one right way. Everybody has their own way of doing things. So shout outs to all those people, man, who keep the dream alive.
Yeah. One last thing and let you go, man. Does it drive you crazy that these dudes don't put out, the ones that don't put out videos, the ones that don't put out promos, promoting their shit, promoting themselves online? I mean, social media is free, man, and it's so easy to put yourself out there and gain the experience from just promoting yourself.
So I'm very glad you brought that up with me, man, because I feel like that's aside from my dashing good looks, one of the major things that made me stand out, like I said earlier, I made it a point to stand out, but one of the main things was my promos. I don't know if you want to ever look back, like 2018, 2019, I was doing green screen promos. I was doing a lot of deep editing. I was self-taught. I taught myself how to edit these videos to try to be different. And then afterwards, it was just like, what if I tried this? What if I tried this? And then like each promo, there was times I was doing promos for shows I wasn't even on, and I know it's not everybody's cup of tea doing a promo, but I think it is important for your brand and important for your fan base to develop a connection outside the ring, and promos are the best way to do that. And it's not as complicated as everybody makes it out to be. I get it. Sometimes I've overwhelmed myself with all these shows. Like recently I got all these shows like, oh my God, I got to do like 8 promos, but a little connection, man. Connect with your audience. The audience wants
Absolutely.
it, man. That's one of the things that made me stand out all these years was my ability to connect through promos and just giving them a piece of my personality, as obscure as it is. Um, like last year's my alien ship promos with establishment, getting attacked by a shark in space, having an alien, just it's wrestling. There's
Yeah,
a vast amount of there's no right way. There's so many different things you can do.
absolutely.
Have fun, be creative. That is your chance to be creative and develop a connection with your fan base. So I encourage all those to do promos. And if you're not good at promos, it's okay. There's ways around that, just get rid of that pride, man. Ask somebody, ask me, hit me up. I'm 24/7 if you ever need help. People complain about so many different things. Just, don't be afraid to ask for some help, man. It's I needed help. I needed inspiration. I drew inspiration from Effie and Saeed in 2018, and I was like, okay, I need to get on those guys' level. I need to, and the way they were getting across was through their promos. So I wanted to take elements of that, and I was inspired by both of them to step my promo game up. I don't think my promos are as good as they once were, but I make it a point to put something out and make it different than everything is different. There's not one thing. It's Aaron Nova. You're gonna get something crazy. There's times I put out stuff that I don't even like and people love.
Yeah.
There's shit I put out that I don't even remember. I've deleted it from my brain, and people remember 4 years ago when you did that one promo butt naked and with a slug mask. And just, I don't know, man. I just try different things. I throw everything at the wall, and then whatever sticks, I don't hang on to that. I just keep moving and just trying different things until, if it ain't fun, then if it doesn't make me laugh and it ain't fun, I won't do it.
Yeah.
So definitely do promos, man. Shout outs to all those who are putting in that work and putting out a presentation. And if you're against it, get your head out your ass and put something out, man. Your audience wants it, man. Do it for the people.
Absolutely.
Do it for
Absolutely.
the people.
You can't get mad. You can't move no merch or anything like that.
Yeah. The guilt tripping is over, man. People already wrestlers, believe it or not, man, they all say the same things. They complain about the same things, but the ones who really stand out, the ones who like make it different, or not okay with the bare minimum, not okay with a car promo, not okay with just saying the show name, the date and time, and oh, you're a good wrestler, but I'm a better wrestler. I'm going to show you why I'm XYZ blah 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 moniker.
Yeah.
Be different, man. Be creative. Be something, because the guys up top of the food chain in the professional wrestling world, we dedicate our time to. They're looking for who wants to be different, who's making an effort to give a different presentation. You can draw inspirations. I drew inspirations from so many things, and so many times I'm far beyond the point of sanity. Just go out there and give the people what they want, man. Just if your audience wants it. So I encourage those to just do something different, man. Give them what they want.
And you can tell the people that put in that extra effort, that put in the work.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's so easy to separate them too.
Absolutely. And those are the guys who get those opportunities, who get, those spotlights, those championship matches, those championships. For those who dedicate all the time to wrestling, it that has meaning, man. That means stuff to people, Yeah. So go out and get it, man. Make that effort.
Go out and get it. Go ahead and get your shit out there, man. Where can they find you at?
Oh man, I haven't done this in so long. This is probably my first podcast interview, and I don't know how long. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming on, man. Appreciate it.
You can find me on Instagram at Aaron Nova. You can find me on X/Twitter, whatever you want to call it, at Aaron Nova. Facebook is a weird one. I don't really add people on my personal Facebook. I'm a little with the height of politics right
I'm
now. I
with
don't
you.
I don't have an opinion on anything, and people are there's like these weird witch hunts where they like you're not saying anything. Why you're not saying anything? So
Yeah.
I try to keep it very simple and very whatever makes me laugh. I just try to share it, But Facebook.com/AaronNovaPro. That is my athlete page. Make sure you follow Mero Pro. Make sure you follow Louisiana Wrestling Alliance. Make sure you follow Lariato, Pride of Wrestling, Establishment, all these shows because wrestling is just so great, man. So just not only me, and if you follow me, take a look at, the people I follow and just keep this wrestling dream alive, man. We all work hand in hand to keep this up, man. The time is now. Wrestling is the hottest thing right now. It's a couple of years ago it was the only thing. Now it's the hottest thing. So we as fans and we as wrestling personnel just got to keep it alive.
Yes, sir. Back to the golden era, man.
Yes.
Can't wait to see what the Marquis is going to do this year, man. Again,
Oh,
thank you
man.
for coming on. Appreciate it, man. Thank you. Everybody have a good night.
One more thing. You said the Marquis. I almost forgot before these guys.
Go ahead. Have at it.
They will beat that. They will beat the shit out of me if I don't. Get yourself some Marquis merchandise. www.com. Marquis Shop Zone. Why I said www.com. I'm so dumb. Sorry, guys. MarquisShopZone.com. Get yourself some Marquis merchandise. Aaron Nova shirts, Tyler Uriah shirts, Daniel Starling shirts. And of course, our brand new Marquis shirts are out there. Get some and keep love alive.
Yes, sir. I'll go ahead and post all the links up there for you, man. Get your merch.
Thank you. Thank you
All right,
so
man.
much.
Thank you again, man. You have a good night, man.
You too, brother.
Thank you. Appreciate it.